Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Onepeg and this is another video. This time we're going to talk about DMZ and Call of Duty and what all of that is about. And there is some new leaks that have come out just in the last 24 hours that are good, interesting. I think you guys will like it. But anyway, intro. Newsy news. All right, yeah, so we did it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to go over here. I have, I think, 13 screenshots that are all rather detailed and very, very interesting. And I also have a paste bin link that was provided that is a little bit of uncovering, but gives us clues. Again, we don't really know what DMZ is going to look and feel like other than that it's going to be Tarkov-esque. But now that everyone has started coining the Tarkov-esque games as extraction shooters, like even Dark and Darker, 12 AM Studios release of Dead Drop that is in production right now, and The Cycle, there are an awful lot of games that seem to be pulling from this Tarkov-esque gameplay as inspiration. Activision looks like it's going a little bit further than that. But before I get into those, please don't kill me. I do have a sponsor for this video, and I'm going to play that for you now. Gotta get the bag, we got bills to pay, so I'm gonna do that. And when I come back, there are chapters on the bottom. You just scroll through along the little time bar on the bottom there, and you should be able to move to whatever section of the video you would like to watch, depending on the subject matter. Okay? We'll see you on the other side. This video is sponsored by Hero Wars. Hero Wars is a turn-based fantasy RPG available on iOS, Android, and your web browser. Featuring a robust campaign mode comprised of more than 130 missions and an additional 6 other game modes to keep you busy for hours and hours to come. Assemble a unique team comprised of more than 50 different unique available heroes to explore dungeons and take on massive monsters. And this month for Halloween, they're doing a special promotion where you can actually win prizes for playing the game in real life. Now, all of the rules and information about this giveaway can be found on HeroWarsPortal.com. It's important that you go and check those rules out, but the idea here is that they're looking for 10,000 installs. As the gauge increases, the number of prizes increases along with it. Ultimately, if we reach the end by downloading the game, joining in the battles, and getting yourself a chance to win, you can get one of up to 160 different Amazon gift cards, ranging from $50 to $500 US. Now, this only runs until October 31st, and the winners of the giveaway will be posted on this HeroWarsPortal.com website, so I would encourage you all to go and check it out. Personally, I really enjoyed playing this game. I enjoyed the special ability usages and how they were all unique to each individual character. I enjoyed the animations, the artwork was very, very nice, and the ease of use of the game and its user interface, the user experience was really, really good. So give it a shot. Click the link in the description below or in the pinned comment, or use the QR code, find your way into Dominion, and let's see if we can't win some people some additional prizes. Thank you so much to the folks at Hero Wars for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you guys for watching, and I'll see you in Hero Wars. Okay, so first up, we have this. It's a paste bin regarding DMZ intel. Now, these are what look to be, in most cases, flavor text that is being filled in about whatever notes or logbooks or whatever it is that you're picking up so that if you wanted to review them or look at them, you can. However, there are things in here that act as more of clues or potentially end up working more like a treasure hunt or trail that you're following. For instance, right here, this says, very familiar with small plane deliveries of sensitive cargo, we should move forward with a more formal meeting with the elders, code 7981. So whenever, you see codes written in text like that, flavor text, it's usually an item that you're trying to find in order to get a code to unlock something. It's usually the thing that comes first in the step, right? In most cases, the user experience of the game now will just give you the code as opposed to making you read it and then, go and figure it out depending on the game. I expect that COD is going to do that for us. In this case, though, there are other sections here where it's like we can handle more, further inspection, move ahead, discuss larger arms, the heavy stuff. Other things describe like rogue scientists in the area, name the chemist. Rumor is he moved somewhere else, need to be careful, move to investigate. There's a lot of that here. And then kind of toward the bottom of this paste bin is just kind of like flavor text. It says like, oh, you found laminated paper. You found an official looking logbook with a bunch of different handwritten entries, scrawled notes, those kinds of things. So this looks more like window dressing, just trying to make the game a little bit more immersive than anything else, just kind of filler pieces. But then we move on to the screen caps. And the screen caps are where we actually start to get some really good info. So all of these leaks are coming from this account, this guy named Codsploits, where you can go and check it out as he's posting things. However, it looks like his Twitter is probably going to be in jeopardy because he keeps getting DMCA struck for the stuff that he is sharing. And while I run a news channel, technically speaking, Activision could DMCA strike me for this. I'm hoping that they don't. But either way, word's out, cat's out of the bag. And this is something that that Activision has very much been trying to keep under wraps. They don't want anybody knowing about this stuff. So there are two things that we know from prior leaks. The first is that there is what is known as a faction mission select screen. So you have the ability to choose a mission based on whichever faction it is that you're working with, and there are two primary factions. From there, you have the ability to choose, I guess, a mission, or there's missions available to you that you can choose from, and that image looks like this. This mission called World Traveler is like the full screen cap that we've got. This says, we need you to familiarize yourself with the points of interest in Saba to increase our operational efficiency. Travel to as many points of interest as you can and scope out the area. So you need to travel to 6 different POIs in one match. So that looks like more of an achievement of some kind. And then there's also these other rewards over here. If you exfil, find and loot a cache, exfil with an item in your backpack, Alcatala Informant, activate 1 UAV tower. So these are kind of like stretch goals on the side. Use your TAC map and ping a contract phone. Find a contract phone and download the intel. So again, we saw that paste bin of DMZ intel. It could very well be, as you're pinging those contract phones, that's what you're pulling from them. So we obviously have points of interest that are going to be located on the map. In the spirit of intel, there's also this image for the mission Always Listening. To effectively perform reconnaissance, you'll need to learn how to operate and retrieve intel from enemy radio communications. Use radios dropped from Alcatala members to find and eliminate additional targets in the area. Pick up 3 radios dropped by neutralized AQ members, and then kill 7 hostiles marked by those radios. So, there is a drop mechanic for, I guess, quote-unquote scav targets, where they will drop radios that you can pick up and then use to locate, mark, and then track down additional targets. From here, though, there are a couple of other missions that look like they are relatively unique, but only in the sense that there are vehicles that we know will be available inside of this game mode that obviously Tarkov doesn't possess. But from there, a lot of it looks like content rips, if I'm being honest. So what I mean by cargo delivery or vehicles is this. Cargo keeper, there's a word of some goods being transported through the AO, and some of our contractors will pay a hefty price for them, etc., etc., etc. Repair and refuel the vehicle afterward. So this says complete a cargo delivery contract and fully repair and refuel the transport vehicle. So there's going to be some type of convoy-esque mission type that we're supposed to do in DMZ to deliver a cargo item of some kind using a cargo vehicle, and then repair and refuel that transport vehicle in order to be able to get full credit. And if you notice, these all have some type of monetary reward. And then the question is, what are we doing with that, obviously? And then along the lines of the phone and other communications devices, they also have this one that says, infill, find an AQ burner phone with intel on the supply site locations, acquire and destroy supplies contract, complete a destroy supplies contract, and then it says open a safe. So we know that there are safes now, that there's going to be located somewhere on the maps that we'll be able to find and loot items out of. Something that I do see as relatively unique, though, is this one. Team player. Hold middle mouse to request to join with 2 nearby enemy operators. So, the intention in this game at the moment, as we see it in this mission, the intention is to potentially meet up with people using proximity VoIP, I would assume, and then hold down middle mouse next to each other or whatever, request that you guys squad up, and then you can join up as an actual team. See each other on your heads-up displays, I would assume, and I guess leave together. So you don't always necessarily, or they're trying to, I guess, promote the idea that you don't always have to necessarily murder each other the moment that you see each other. Kind of cool. Kind of a cool little incentive. And whether or not that actually plays, who knows? In the vein of vehicles and vehicle refueling and repairs, there's this one, convenience. A future operation requires that you have some experience with fueling and repairing vehicles. They can be found at gas stations. Fuel and repair vehicles at 2 gas stations and loot 6 gas cans. So we know that there's going to be localized loot in specific areas, sounding very familiar to a game or many games that we have played before, where there tends to be hot spots of loot depending on what it is that you're looking for in certain locations. Fair warning, the rest of these pretty much look like content rips directly from Tarkov's playbook. They're not even really trying to hide it with these. The first and most blatant is this one, Bag 'em and Tag 'em. Another squad of ours was taken out by enemy operators working for a faction known as Black Mouse. So again, White Lotus versus Black Mouse, USEC versus Bear, ringing any bells. We're looking for more intel on them. Bring back some enemy dog tags. Dog tags, huh? We've never seen that before. We also have word of Black Mouse documents spotted in Rohan oil. Bring those back too. Loot and extract 2 enemy dog tags. Loot and extract 2 pieces of Black Mouse intel from Rohan oil. Even though they've spelled mouse and mouse separately, we get the idea. The idea being that there's 2 separate set of operators. They're calling the faction, or who you are. You're not a PMC, you're an operator. So more of the same, but again, dog tag mechanic. We know exactly what that is. And the 2 factions, White Lotus, Black Mouse. Nothing surprising there. We have USEC and Bear basically working against each other. And seeing as at the start, Bear are the ones that wear black, I'm going to assume that Black Mouse is supposed to be Bear with the black t-shirt, I guess. Then we have this one. Who's watching? Acquire a tactical camera. Set up a tactical camera pointing at the underpass in Rohan oil. Snapshot 5 enemies in Rohan oil with a tactical camera. And there's something interesting with this, with the lock that says complete the other 4 missions in the tier to unlock. So what this leads us to believe is that most of the stuff that we're looking at is like a tier 1 mission. In fact, the first screen cap I showed you, it even said tier 1 on it. With the tier 1 mission being what it is, it's assumed now that there's going to be a series of missions that you must do, right, in order to unlock the next higher tier and I guess get bigger, better rewards or try to do more at once or whatever it is, stretch goal kind of stuff. There is also this image, weapons research. We're conducting some recon on the equipment of our competitors. Take a contract to hunt an enemy operator, bring their weapon back to us for an inspection. So complete 1 hunt contract, which I would assume means that you're supposed to kill a whole bunch of other operators or 1 other operator and leave with 1 of their guns. That's how you get credit for it. Seems an awful lot like Hunt Showdown or Tarkov. And then last but certainly not least is this one. And this one is big. Vintage Collection says, usually this person is pickier, but times are tough and he'll pay well for any bottles you might find. Loot 6 liquor or wine bottles and sell 6 liquor or wine bottles at a shop. Now, there is no word as to whether or not the shop is going to be located inside of the map or if the shop is going to be the shop marketplace outside of the map. However, we do have leaks dating back months ago. I mean, back to May from this guy, the Ghost of Hope, that says Modern Warfare 2's third mode DMZ will include a marketplace where items can be bought and traded. You are able to earn skins, blueprints, and more from DMZ that are usable across multiplayer and eventually Warzone 2. So according to this leaker, the Ghost of Hope, which is still something that you can go and look at yourselves on Twitter, they are saying that there's going to be a marketplace, an actual marketplace. My personal belief is that we're going to see the ability to buy, sell, and trade items on some form of marketplace, but I think that this alludes more to selling them at a shop terminal of some kind. My guess is that there's going to be electronic terminals on the map somewhere that you'll be able to transact business with, very similar to how Warzone does it already with the computer terminals that are located around the map where you can buy respawns and things like that. There is also talk of having a PMC-esque or Tarkov-esque hideout located in the game. There was a leak of this image that shows a whole bunch of operators that you have the ability to choose from, so we know that there's going to be some type of class system. We also know that we have a workbench for all of our weapons because we have the mechanic in this game to be able to adjust whatever weaponry we've got, but it is believed that the background imagery here is some form of PMC-esque hideout. This image was leaked in part during the test where they allowed people to be able to fire guns on the firing range, and this was showing up in the background where people could actually look in and see the seating area and all of the lockers. Whether or not that actually ends up being a physical place that we can actually sit in and do stuff, no one knows. What we do know, though, is that there is going to be a marketplace, there are going to be shops, there is dog tags to collect off of your enemies, and there are missions to find items, sell items, and take out other players and collect their dog tags and go after AI operatives and the items that they hold in order to be able to find more of them, etc., etc., etc. This game, if I were to describe this without having actually used the words Activision and DMZ or Call of Duty, you would think I was talking about an expansion to Tarkov. Let's be honest. If I started talking about this and, you know, hadn't got to the point where I was mentioning vehicles, the assumption would be as I was talking about a Tarkov patch. You know what I mean? Really. I just need to swap out a couple of different words and it's basically Tarkov. Like I said, they're not even trying to hide it. That being said, I am still looking forward to this. I'm hopeful that they are able to do something that isn't going to end up gassing us out within days like Battlefield did. The idea of having multiple classes does make me wonder, though, because I don't know whether or not they are going to have an adequate amount of money squeeze or risk feel in order to make it feel like this game matters. The question is whether or not this game's going to have the kind of risk that Tarkov makes you feel when you're still learning how to play it, because if you're an OG, you really don't feel that anymore. But at the start, you know, the first 1,000 hours or whatever, we felt pretty squeezed. Most of us, anyway. In the case of that, though, Activision does look like they have a little bit of an answer in this, which is one-man army, this last mission, this last leak that I have, which is infill without any teammates and extract in the same match. So we know that you have the ability to go it alone. If you want to, you can solo queue and still end up on a map with squads and whatever else and feel that squeeze like you would in Tarkov when you don't really know who's there or how many. So I do like that. There is an autofill feature if you wanted to autofill your squad and use in-game communications, but you can always make your pre-made or go it alone. In that case, they're at least trying to incentivize you to do that, which I also like. So they're going down the right path, and I don't want to make it sound like they're not looking in the right direction. It's just a matter of whether or not the mix that they're trying to implement is one that works, and that's where I'm still apprehensive. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not necessarily optimistic, but I am looking forward to trying it, or hopefully having the guys from Activision reach out to some of us and give us an idea of what this thing's going to look like before they actually drop it in our laps in a month. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for this video. If you wouldn't mind, please consider following me on my socials at OnePegMG on Twitter, at OnePeg on TikTok, and at twitch.tv/OnePeg, where I am streaming simultaneously now to both platforms when I am live every single day between 6 and 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, if you would be so kind, please consider subbing the channel here because we do this stuff all the time, baby. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.